Yo, it's the weirdo crew, hit the crying over you. Found a little beat from me, been walking down this avenue. Took a little time off, gotta do 101. Mr. Yorkie gone away, it's time to play without the guns. Yeah, ripping and ripping, so fast here we go. Couldn't be missing the best, I would know. Killing it all, I wanna rage, why you gotta waste your time in a cage? So I've been thinking, it's not just a phase, the fire we bring, been turning on phase, been at it for years, but we don't know how. Feels like we still be the ones in the crowd. Oh, this is not a
YYZN locked the door of her bakery and turned around to face the stormy night. She loved her little bakery in the heart of the city, surrounded by skyscrapers and busy streets. She also loved her cozy apartment above the bakery, where she lived with her cat and her collection of mystery novels. She was a kind and gentle woman who always had a smile for her customers and a treat for any stray animal. As she was about to walk up the stairs, she heard a faint whimper from the doorway. She looked down and saw a small boy soaked to the bone, curled up in a corner. He was shivering and clutching a backpack. His eyes were wide with fear. "Hello there," YYZN said softly, kneeling down to his level. "What's your name?" The boy didn't answer. He just stared at her with a mix of curiosity and weariness. "It's okay, I won't hurt you," YYZN assured him. "I'm YYZN. I own this bakery. Do you like cakes?" The boy nodded slightly. "That's good. I love cakes too. They are so delicious, don't you think?" YYZN smiled. "Do you have any friends?" The boy shook his head. "I'm sorry to hear that. Where are your parents? Are they looking for you?" The boy lowered his eyes and shook his head again. "Oh, baby, you must be so scared and lonely. Come on, let me take you upstairs. You need some dry clothes, cake, and a hot chocolate. Maybe some soup too. How does that sound?" The boy hesitated, but then nodded again. He let YYZN take his hand and lead him up the stairs. She hoped he would trust her enough to tell her his story, and maybe even stay with her for a while. She had always wanted a child of her own, but fate had other plans for her. Maybe this was a sign that things were about to change for the better. YYZN spent the next day trying to find out more about Jiho, the little boy who had taken shelter in her bakery. He was shy and quiet, but gradually opened up to her. He told her he had been in a car accident with his father, who was badly injured and taken away by some men. He didn't know where they were or if they were alive. He had escaped from the wreckage and wandered the street until he found YYZN's bakery. YYZN felt a surge of pity and compassion for Jiho. She couldn't imagine what he had gone through and how scared he must be. She decided to help him find his father, or at least contact the authorities. She searched online for any news about the accident but found nothing. She wondered if it was a cover-up or if Jiho's father was involved in something dangerous. She also wondered who Jiho's father was. The boy had only called him Papa and didn't mention his name or occupation. He said he loved him very much and that he was a good man. He also said he looked like him, but with different hair and eyes. That night, as YYZN was closing the bakery, she heard a knock on the door. She opened it and saw a man standing in the rain. He was taller than her and muscular. His face was handsome with sharp features and some scars. His eyes were dark and piercing, scanning the bakery with a keen intensity. "Can I help you?" Ryan asked politely. The man stepped inside. He looked around the bakery, then fixed his gaze on Ryan. "I believe you have something that belongs to me," he said, his voice deep and commanding. "Something that belongs to you?" Ryan repeated, confused. "Yes," he said, moving closer to her. "My son, Jiho." Ryan gasped as she recognized the resemblance between the man and the boy. They had the same face shape, nose, lips, and ears. The only difference was their hair and eyes. "You're Jiho's father?" she asked, incredulous. "Yes," he said again, his eyes softening at the mention of his son's name. "Where is he? Is he safe? Is he here?" "He's upstairs," Ryan said quietly. "He's safe, don't worry. He's been staying with me since yesterday." "Yesterday?" The man frowned. "How did you find him? What happened to him?" "He found me," Ryan explained. "He was outside my bakery, wet and cold and scared. He said he had been in an accident with you and that some man took you away." The man's face darkened as he clenched his jaw. He looked angry and worried at the same time. "Those," he muttered under his breath, "they tried to. Us." "Who are they?" Ryan asked curiously. The man shook his head and ignored her question. "I need to see my son," he said urgently. "Please take me to him." "Of course," Ryan nodded. "Follow me." She led him upstairs to her apartment, where Jiho was sleeping on the couch. She gently woke him up and told him his father was here. Jiho's eyes widened as he saw the man standing behind Ryan. He jumped off the couch and ran into his arms. "Papa!" he cried happily. "Jiho!" the man exclaimed, hugging him tightly. "My son, my son." They embraced for a long time, tears streaming down their faces. Ryan watched them with a smile, feeling happy for them but also sad for herself. She knew she would have to say goodbye to Jiho soon, and she had grown fond of him in such a short time. She wondered who his father was and what kind of life they had together. She wondered if they would ever come back to visit her bakery again. The man looked at her with gratitude and admiration. She was standing by the couch watching them with a soft expression. She was wearing a simple dress and a cardigan, her hair tied in a ponytail. She looked like an angel. He got up from the floor and walked towards her, still holding Jiho in his arms. "Thank you," he said sincerely. "Thank you for saving my son." "It was nothing," she said modestly. "I'm just glad he's okay." She reached out to touch Jiho's cheek. and he smiled at her. "She's nice, Papa," he whispered to his father. "I know, son," he whispered back. "She's very nice." He cleared his thought and looked at her again. "I'm sorry, I didn't introduce myself properly. I'm Park Jimin, Jiho's father." "I'm YN," she said politely. "I own this bakery." "It's a lovely bakery," Jimin complimented. "Thank you," YN smiled. "I love baking. It's my passion." Jimin looked at YN with thankfulness and appreciation. He couldn't believe that she had saved his son from the streets and taken care of him without expecting anything in return. She was a kind and generous woman who deserved more than just a simple thank you. "YN, you are amazing," he said sincerely. "You have done so much for me and Jiho, and I don't know how to repay you, but I want to try. Please, let me give you something, anything as a token of my gratitude." "I don't need anything, Mr. Park. I'm just glad Jiho is safe," YN replied modestly, but Jimin insisted. "Please call me Jimin, and I owe you more than just gratitude, YN," he said, his gaze intense. Over the next few days, Jimin visited YN often, bringing her flowers and gifts. They would spend hours talking about their favorite things, and YN found herself drawn to his charisma and charm. Jiho too became attached to YN, always excited to visit her bakery. One day, Jimin finally revealed his secret. "YN, I need to tell you something," Jimin said, his voice trembling. He looked at her with a mix of fear and hope, holding her hand tightly. They were sitting on the table in her bakery. Jiho was playing with some toys in the corner, unaware of the serious conversation. "What is it, Jimin?" YN asked, feeling a surge of anxiety. She had grown to love Jimin over the past few days. Jimin also saved her from the robbers. He was kind, charming, and intelligent. He also brought his son Jiho along, who was adorable and sweet. YN felt a connection with both of them, as if they were meant to be a family. Jimin took a deep breath and said, "YN, I am not an ordinary businessman. I am the head of a mafia family." He waited for her reaction, expecting her to scream or run away. YN gasped, feeling a shock wave through her body. She looked at him with disbelief, trying to process his words. She remembered he had used to scare off the robbers, the mysterious phone calls he would receive. She realized that he had been hiding a dark side of himself from her. "Jimin, are you serious?" she asked, her voice shaky. "Yes, YN, I am serious. I know this is a lot to take in, and I understand if you don't want to see me or Jiho anymore." Jimin said, his eyes filled with sadness. He let go of her hand and stood up, ready to leave. YN felt a pang in her heart, as if someone had her. She looked at Jimin, then at Jiho, who was still playing happily. She thought about all the moments they had shared, all the laughter and joy they had brought into her life. She realized that she loved them both, despite Jimin's secret. Jimin, wait, she said, standing up and grabbing his arm. Don't go. Jimin looked at her with surprise and confusion. Ryan, what are you saying? You know what I am, what I do? How can you still want me? Ryan looked into his eyes and said, Jimin, we all have our shadows. Yes, yours might be darker than most, but I've seen the man you are behind them. The man who loves his son more than anything in the world. The man who makes me feel alive and happy, and I love that man. I will never ask you about your past, Jiho's mother, and your relationship with her because I trust you and fall in love with you and Jiho. I just want to be a part of your life and family. I will support you no matter what happens in future. I will love and protect Jiho in the same way that a mother loves and protects her child. And with every breath I take, I will love and support you. She wrapped her arms around him and hugged him tightly. Jimin felt a surge of emotion and hugged her back. He buried his face in her hair and whispered, I love you too, Ryan. Jiho saw them hugging and ran towards them. He joined their embrace and said, I love you both. With a smile and a peck on his cheek, they welcomed him into their embrace. Then Jimin pressed his lips to Ryan's, affirming their love. They looked like a happy family. They were the picture of happiness. She was a simple girl who loved baking, but she fell in love with a complicated man. He was a single father who adored his son, and he was also the head of the mafia. He had many enemies, but he also had her. She was his light in the dark.